You know, this is the cleanest and nicest police car I've ever been in my life.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and another new movie review, and I'll try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. This month, Netflix released the fourth installment in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, 40 years after the original. Titled Axel F, of course we get Eddie Murphy back in the role of Detective Axel Foley of the Detroit Police Department. Reprising their roles as Taggart and Rosewood are John Ashton and Judge Reinhold. Paul Reiser is back as Jeffrey, who is now Axel's captain, and a cameo of Bronson Pinchot as Serge. So yes, the nostalgia is heavy in this film. Joining the cast is Kevin Bacon, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Taylor Paige as Axel's estranged adult daughter, who is a defense attorney in Beverly Hills. This movie has been in production hell for a long time. Different scripts, different directors, but finally it got made, and its fate is to stream now on Netflix. So, let's not bury the headline here. Is it a good movie? Worthy of the Beverly Hills franchise? Yeah, it is. It's a great epilogue to the characters of Axel Foley, Taggart, and Rosewood. But it is not original. It follows the Beverly Hills blueprint to the letter. Opening chase scene in Detroit, a reason to go to California, Axel upsets people, finds himself on the wrong side of the law, makes fun of California and the police in Beverly Hills, finds unlikely allies, including a police officer who's willing to go along with him. In this case, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There are more chase scenes, more of Axel busting people's balls. So yeah, it's a Beverly Hills Cop movie. Is it great? No. I've seen so many reviews of this film that give it an 8 or 9 out of 10, and I'm glad some people are loving it that much, so don't misunderstand me. A lot of you know that I think Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest comedians that ever lived, and when he has decided to come back, I root for him all the time. But as enjoyable as this movie is, and it is enjoyable, it does not ever come close to the level of bite that the originals have. Why? Two things. First, the physical comedy does not come off as sharp. Eddie Murphy said it best in an interview with The New Yorker. When they made the first one, he was 23. Things were a lot easier back then, and at age 63, the physicality is just a lot harder. Second, the jokes are recycled. And sure, they still made me smile when I heard them because they brought me back in time, but they're still recycled. And I think that is what the movie was meant to be, a retrospective of what was a great action comedy trilogy. There are some nuances added to these recycled jokes, like instead of Axel joking with the cops about having the cleanest police car he's ever been in, like he did in Beverly Hills Cop, this time, he makes fun of the electric vehicle and its size that he's placed into. The jokes about Billy's penchant for overpowered weapons is recycled. Taggart's marriage grief is recycled. Even Serge's appearance is just a recycled bit. Just this time it involves real estate. And I think the actors and writers are very aware of this because it is intentional. It's meant to call back all of the good and funny that we remember. As evidence of this self-awareness, I offer this. Usually, Axel Foley will bullshit his way into getting an expensive hotel room or a house, using some made-up persona to skirt the bill. However, here we get Axel beginning to do this same act, only to stop himself in a moment of just feeling too old and beat up to go through with it, and just taking the room at almost $1,000 a night. It's a great reminder to the audience that Axel is older. He's wiser, or at least he understands that he needs to change as much as the world has changed around him. Now, the standouts of the film with Axel are definitely Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Kevin Bacon. These are two seasoned professionals that understand what the script demands of them, that they are there to play off of and augment Eddie Murphy's comedic timing and talent, and they both do it very well. What makes this film different and what I found most enjoyable is that Axel finds his equal in his estranged daughter. Taylor Paige plays Jane, and she never goes over the top with her role. She keeps her performance at a simmer, only popping a little when necessary, usually when she's butting heads with her dad and returning the banter and the sarcasm. And this gives a new dimension to Axel Foley, that of father figure. It allowed Murphy to add some emotional depth to a character that usually shied away from revealing too much of his heart to anyone. Sure, the Axel Foley we all know is funny, reckless, loyal, and hyper-focused on his objectives. But we would never have described him as deep, usually reverting to sarcasm or one-liners in moments that could have been more sensitive. But not here. or at least not all the time. And that is something I think we can all appreciate about this film. It would have been easy for Eddie Murphy to try and just slip back into the role of Axel Foley and just spam us with a recitation of his greatest hits. And like I said, we get a lot of those, but they are all supplemented with Axel struggling to be a father, to express his love, to find common ground and connection with his only living descendant. This is what helps the film to separate from the first three and offer something fresh. Remove this relationship from the film, and we would have gotten the subpar cash grab that this film could have been. But with this relationship and the way in which it is performed, Axel F becomes a very enjoyable epilogue to a story that began back in 1983. That of a brash, mouthy, wisecracking Detroit detective that would go to any length for the ones that he calls friends and the ones that he holds closest to his heart. So yes, if you are a Beverly Hills Cop fan or an Eddie Murphy fan, you should watch this movie. It'll put a smile on your face and make you laugh a few times, which is exactly what Beverly Hills Cop is all about. And that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Which Beverly Hills Cop film is your favorite? Do you think this is a great send-off for these characters? And did Axel F live up to your expectations? And if you want more movie reviews, check out the playlist at the end of this video by clicking on the thumbnails. As always, I'm still your reluctant gringo, and from south of the border, salute and a huevo.